Okay, I'm back. Hey, Grisabella. Hey, Aquarius. Sorry, I couldn't see my chat in OBS, so I figured I'd just really quickly restart it. And yay, it works. I'm gonna do my intro again really quickly because I'm also recording this for YouTube. Um, so, hi everyone, I'm Elaine. Um, I am currently having doing a project that is very near to my heart. I'm doing a deep delve into the lore of Lord of the Rings, and I'm doing that through um, the game Lord of the Rings Online. Um, I am um, not just taking from the books of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. I am taking from much more in-depth history. Um, and yeah, I really like it so far, and it also helps to have a couple of people who, you know, are having fun alongside with me. Um, so let's go for a quick recap. Um, the past couple of episodes, we've really started to explore the Ered Luin, the Blue Mountains, um, and we found out that Elven Prince was captured by dwarves, and that it was threatening to start a war between elves and dwarves. Yes, I am back! Yay! It works now. I can see chat. Um, and we found out that there was this faction or subrace of dwarves called the Dower Hounds, and we attacked their stronghold, managed to drive them out, prevented that war, but it turned out that it wasn't as easy as that. The leader of the Dower Hounds, Skorgrim, um, was in league with the Nazgul. So I think it was last episode that we spent a lot of time traversing the Shire and finding the different spots that we know so well. Thank you, Aqua. This is actually the first time that I'm doing this intro, so I'm just learning as we go. Um, oh, let me have a quick drink. um, and we went through Buckland. We followed Frodo and Samwise, Merry and Pippin on the first steps of their journey. Even went through the Old Forest, met Tom Bombadil, went through the Barrow Downs, and we met Strider. We also found out that time-wise we are slightly ahead, although I think currently we're just about at the point where the hobbits have met Strider in Bree, and we're now trying to figure out how much the enemy knows. So let's go into the game and let's get on with it. So here's Aragorn, or as he is also commonly known, Strider. And
Listen well.
let's see what he has to tell us. There's one who could find these crabine for us, if we were to ask him for such aid. However, he may not see our worries as his. He is known by many peoples by many names. Of old he was known as Orald to men, while to the dwarves he was simply Faun. The elves called him Larvain Ben Adar, oldest and fatherless. However, in these days he is known as Tom Bombadil by those few who are aware of him. Look for Tom Bombadil's house which lies at the far eastern end of the Withywindle, the river that flows through the old forest. He may help you if you... no? He may help you if you ask him in my name, Aragorn. If you discover anything, I would ask that you address it as best you can. I wish I could help you in this task, but the safety of my charges comes before all else. So, as I mentioned in my last stream when we met Tom Bombadil, that is also mentioned here, is that the elves call him fatherless. The reason for that is, well, this is the part that I mentioned in my previous stream, is that we don't know who Tom Bombadil is and we don't know where he comes from. The best we can gather is that he was already there when the land was created. And as such, some have the theory that he is sort of an avatar of Middle-earth. And as we... well, it's a bit hard to say, but the Earth itself cares little for what happens on its surface. It's like even our own Earth. It is so old that it has seen many species come and go. So, in that way, it is fitting that an avatar of the Earth would be like that, not caring what happens, because he will remain. He will always be there. Oh, I don't think my PC is able to handle this. Please don't crash on me. Well, there's something. I think I am going to... oh, there we are, finally. That has never happened before. My graphics cards just refuse to catch up with the game. Yeah, I know my PC is kind of old and graphics card is horribly out of date, but that is something I have never seen before. Like lag and stuff, yeah, but oh well. So here we are in the Barrow Downs again. Also, it is starting to become a little bit scary because this quest is actually in orange, which means it's beyond our normal level range. So I might actually have to do a few side quests to catch up. But I don't think we are quite underpowered just yet. So we'll just continue as is and see if we can go to a new area soon and pick up a couple of quests along the way. Hey Aqua, how much do you know of the Old Forest? Oh yes, you can definitely ask me questions about anything. Um, I am, well, I basically played myself, um, or at least in a certain way. Um, the character background I have chosen is High Elf, and I've chosen a champion um, because of all the classes that um, appealed to me the most. I kind of like um, magic. So a spellcaster is something that I inherently like a lot. However, the problem with spellcasters is magic in Middle Earth is not something that is quite common. Actually, we only know of a few people who are able to use magic. Um, Sauron is one. Um, then there's Gandalf and Saruman, and the other wizards, of which there were only 5, by the way. Um, and in very limited ways, Galadriel had some sort of magic as well. Um, although I would say that for the elves, it's more a mastery of the land rather than magic. And for Sauron and the wizards, they are Maya, minor gods. Um, but I'm going off track a little bit. Um, so I've chosen a non-magic wielder, and because I chose High Elf, I was like, well, those can be very, very good soldiers, and as you know, a hero of the land, the champion was the best fit for that. High Elf I chose because I've always loved elves. Um, I've always found myself trying to create an elf character if at all possible. Plus, it gave me the chance to go into the history of the elves. Like especially and I'm not entirely sure what my entire background is. I chose the background of Gondolin. There is such an immense story behind that. Like one of the characters I've always loved was Turgon and Idril of Gondolin, and the fact that even though all around their kingdom the great enemy Morgoth was basically in control, he still could not find Gondolin. He couldn't find that kingdom, and he was very fearful of that one remaining elf kingdom. And that's one of the reasons why I chose Gondolin and High Elves as my background. The Old Forest, I know as much as is given in Lord of the Rings, Tom Bombadil's realm, and I remember the dwarf road between Khazad-dûm and the Iron Mountain, but not much more. You are sort of correct somewhat, but also very incorrect on other parts. The Old Forest isn't exactly Tom Bombadil's realm. It is one of the last vestiges of the woods that once were part of, well, stretched from coast to coast probably. And Tom Bombadil is master of all, servant to none. Like in the books, when Frodo and his party reach Tom Bombadil, and Tom Bombadil puts on the One Ring, he is not affected by it. And not even Gandalf can save it. So Tom Bombadil is really an enigma. As for Khazad-dûm and the Iron Mountains, I think Khazad-dûm is over here. This is Moria. These are the Iron Hills. So that is slightly the wrong way. What you did mean was the Blue Mountains. And as you can see, the Blue Mountains, they run a road into Hobbiton, through Bree, onto Rivendell, and then just past Moria, or Khazad-dûm. But the Old Forest is here. So the Great Road between Ered Luin, the Blue Mountains, and Khazad-dûm runs actually to the north of the Old Forest. Yeah, that is the best that we can figure him out to be. Now let's see what Tom has to say. Come here, you merry, merry man.
Ring a dong, hop along, follow the willow.
Oh my god, that is such a nice touch that they actually made him sing. That is what he did in the books as well. He was just hopping around and singing all the time. Oi now, hey now, what is all this fussing? We've not had so many guests since our wedding. There is time enough for bird watching, but perhaps first a song or two, my hearty. Let your heart fly free and put aside your worries. You're at the house of Tom Bombadil.
Now let the fun begin, let us sing together.
My Goldberry is away at her spring, and I was going lily hunting. I've no time for chasing birds, but hoy now, Aragorn's the name I know, and a friend of old Tom's. Here then my offer. While old Tom Bombadil looks for sour crows, you'll gather lilies for my lovely. I saw some along the river, just a hop and a jump away. Just follow along until ring-a-ding-dillo you find Old Man Willow. You watch that old grey willow man, he's a mighty singer. He'll sing you down to sleep and drown you if you don't be careful. You read the books? Oh, that is so great! Yay! Let's go find Old Man Willow. He's around here somewhere. Also, there is a bit of lore there that I think a lot of people would easily overlook, and I almost forgot about it myself. And that's the fact that there is strength in song. Very, well, I shouldn't say strength per se, but power. The world, in fact, was created by song. All that's in it is created by song, and therefore it is very easy to understand why someone like Tom Bombadil, who's singing all the time, and someone or something like Old Man Willow, who uses song to entice people as a means of power. Even going back to one of the in the Silmarillion, there was this old elf. Nice. Dinosaurs are amazing. Anyways, there was this old elf, actually one of the kings of elves, who at some point did battle with Sauron, as we all know, is the big baddie in The Lord of the Rings. But they did not battle with swords or shields. They did battle in song. And if I remember correctly, they sang for probably an entire day, or at least the entire night. And I believe that the song that Finrod sang was a song of sleep, of forgetfulness, as to allow Beren to escape the clutches of Sauron, or at least something similar to that, while Sauron sang a song of weakness, of subduing, and they battled in their song to and fro, and every time Sauron gained the upper hand, his minions would wake and become alert, and Finrod would become weak. But then Finrod came back, and his minions would become drowsy again, and Sauron's power waned. And it's a really nice way of, well, it's a very much different way of doing battle, and I think it's really lovely that Tolkien was so diverse in his writings.
Now let the fun begin, let us sing together.
I think that is definitely in the Silmarillion, and I'm not sure whether Sauron was mainly called Sauron at that time. I do know that he was a shapeshifter, and it was, I think, before the Nirnaeth Anodiad, but after, I think, the Dachod Bracholach. Oh my god, all these names. In ancient history, long before this third age, long before the age of men, which is fast approaching, there was the second age, the age of the elves. And in that age, they did battle with Morgoth, the great evil, the boss of Sauron. Um, and there were obviously many, many skirmishes in that war that lasted, I think, over 1,000 years. And then probably a couple of thousand years more while stuff happened around them. But there were, I think, 5 very, very large battles, of which the Dag op Bracholach was one, and it's called the Battle of Sudden Flame, because that was the first time that the dragons went forth from, was it Angmar? I think it was Angmar. No, it was Thangorodrim. Angmar was but one fortress. Thangorodrim was the stronghold of Morgoth. And the Dag op Bracholach was the one battle that broke the siege upon Thangorodrim, whereas the Nirnath Arnodiad was the battle that basically broke the elves. They lost everything in that battle, and that is why it's called the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. Yeah, it's... I could tell you so much about that, but hey, I guess we'll just get to it when we get to it, right? Come here, Tom, my merry
Come,
fellow.
Derry Dole, can you hear me singing?
Lilies white for the river daughter, stronger than hobbit folk are you if you outsang Willowman. Not a lily crushed nor leaf bent. Old Tom's a merry fellow, but he knows when it's time for dancing or to go a-whiting. He's found your birds and none too soon. If you seek them out, then seek them now, unless you wish to sleep beneath green grass.
Now let the fun begin, let us sing
Blackbirds
together.
flitted and fluttered, skipping among the branches. They came to rest where the restless walk. Beware the old barrows, they stir when they should be asleeping. Go north up the path and follow the old barrows road, then south within the barrows wall along the forest eaves. Hey doll, merry doll, and there you'll find them. Watch for the lady dreary. Now hop along, my hearty, Tom's a-going leaping. Oh yes. Actually, in the final battle of that age, the Valar rode forth and they finished what they started the age before that. They actually took Morgoth away and chained him and thrust him beyond the confines of the world. I'm just going to pick up these quests real quick.
Would you do something for me?
Stay and have some tea.
I don't know exactly where I need to go, but it's fine.
Hello, friend. Could you help me with something?
Da-da-da.
Would you do something for me?
But the final
Might
battle
I take a moment of your time?
was undertaken by the Valar themselves.
Stay a moment.
Those are the upper gods, you could say. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a sneeze in my nose and it won't come out. That's really annoying. Where am I and where do I need to go. But that final battle, or rather war really, was
Mercy
called
me! Will you hear me out?
the War of Wrath, as it was the Valar who laid waste to Morgoth and his minions, or at least most of them, because some did hide and escape. Sauron was one of them. Multiple Balrogs did. But in that terrible war, the land itself was rent asunder. It was so bad that it, and I touched upon that a little bit earlier. This was not the western edge of the world. This was the eastern edge of the world. And Khazad-dûm was like far, far off for them. I believe that at that time, what we now know as the Blue Mountains and the stronghold there might actually be the remains of what was once the capital of the dwarves, Belegost. And Moria, or Khazad-dûm, was, or rather Khazad-dûm was always the capital, I think, but Belegost was their western capital and the place from where the dwarves traded with the elves. Where are you? You shouldn't get killed, that's not smart. Here we go. But yes, in that war, the land sank beneath the waves, and all that we knew was lost. And well, not all that we knew, but the land that we knew was completely lost. And most of the elves after that went back into the west. Yay, barrow whites, gotta love them. Oh! Oh boy. have been easier. Oh! Go away, creepy crawler. Now I have to kill a lot of you, but... doesn't mean I have to like it. Oh. Oh boy. Sometimes things are a lot easier than you might think. Come on, little one. Let's bring you home. I think we might also at some point have a quick look at the Great Barrows. Oh. You know, it's actually kind of funny, because if I look at those bar guests, they sort of look like the hyenas that the goblins rode in that scene in Rohan. I'm not sure if it was ever in the books, but let's continue. And I promise next time I will do this kind of thing in between, because it's not that riveting in my opinion. It's just me beating up a couple of critters here and there. Hey Aqua, are you still there? Or have you just fallen asleep? Oh boy. And this is a big one. Don't even have to be here. Um, no need. Well, it is an MMO, so yeah, obviously there's gonna be a bit of action. It's supposed to be around here somewhere. Dig, 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 dig. No, the thing is, in having to adapt Lord of the Rings, the books, into a movie and then into a game, and especially a multiplayer game, definitely has its challenges. Like the first time I watched the movies, I was absolutely gobsmacked by all the things that were different and that changed. And then the second time, I realized how much of a different kind of medium it is, and how that definitely requires a different touch. So while in the books it might seem that let's see, it's somewhere around here. Yeah, it is here. Why I'm not? Sorry, I shouldn't mumble. I am looking for the place to do this quest. But yeah, the books where it seems really like a lot of waiting a lot of the time. Yeah, but you can write that in fairly easily. Whereas in a movie where you only have a limited amount of time to convey what the scene is, you can do that in a massively different way. And then when playing a game like a multiplayer game like this, and an MMO especially, you have to yeah, lots and lots of walking, but as you can see, there is still quite a bit of walking to do. Like from Bree to Buckland, for example, that's not just, you know, a hop and a skip. It will take several minutes. So in a game where you actually expect to be engaged in some sort of way, it, you know, that actually takes quite a long time. But because it's a game and because you do expect to have action all the time, yeah, that just changes how you have to approach it. Because quite frankly, if we were just following in the Fellowship's footsteps, none of us would really play it. It would be really boring. Oh yeah, Atlas of Middle-earth. Yeah, I think basically, if you have to take real world concepts, I think the west until the borders of Mordor is about from the Atlantic Ocean to the Black Sea, give or take, I think. And they did that on foot. So when and the good thing about books is you can convey those distances in a very different way than you would do in the movies. In the movies, you just like here, you open the map and you show, hey, this is big. But in the books, you can actually write the feel of it into it and write that they had to camp several times and sleep. So that's a completely different way of looking at things. Level up. And my PC really does not like that. Really doesn't like it. Okay, I think we're back. Go here. Yay! And another quest complete. Let's defeat a couple of more bar guests. As well as I don't think I want to go there, because that leads back to the old forest. A few buggers, a few rats. And it would be wise to actually face them, because hitting behind your back is not really an easy thing to do. What do we have to do here? Okay, we found the carbine. Never liked those crows. Okay. That part done. Now all I need is a couple more bar guests. The only thing for me at this point that would make this game better, I guess, would be if I could just do the main quest line and skip everything else. But unfortunately that is not the case. So I will have to content myself with killing a few beasties and goblins and whatnots along the way, just to keep up with the power levels required to actually get this done. I think I only need rats and crawlies. Two more. Sometimes you absolutely can't avoid them, and then when you need them, they are nowhere to be found. Think I found a couple, maybe two. Dang it! I got my kill stolen. Not funny. There we go. That's okay, Aqua. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun. Maybe I'll even see you again next time. Night night. This right here. Something about here. Which one is it? The thing is wandering around and I have absolutely no clue where he is. So there he is. Now, and that's why they call him a wandering soul. Back north. First, let's complete these quests. And find out what Tom wants.
What do you need?
How do you do?
Could I speak with you a moment?
Okay, some of that might actually matter.
What can I do for you? Greetings.
Because we are obviously under
What can I do for you?
and the rewards we might get are
Hello, friend. Could you help me with something?
possibly
How can I be of
higher
service?
level than we can actually wear them at the time. I picked up a few more quests along the way. We'll just see whether we complete them or we just leave them be for the time being. But for now, let's first go to Tom. In his house. Okay.
Tom Bum, Jolly Tom, Tom
So
Bum,
what do you have
Badillo.
for us in reward? That's pretty nice. Except it's two-handed. We'll grab that one. Oh there, stay a while. Or are you still hurried? Othrongroth, you say? That's a dark place, full of dark wights, and you've no need of going. If you must, and I'll not be staying with you. Very well, come closer, and I'll be telling you.
Ring a dong, hop along, follow the willow.
The Great Barrow is not a place for weak hearts or frail limbs. Wicked wights and evil lords make merry in their terror. They've never caught old Tom and never will they. He's the master. You be going, Tom will take you.
Now let the fun begin, let us sing
We're severely
together.
underleveled for this, but hey, let's give it a try.
An unholy alliance is forged within the depths of Othrongroth, the Great Barrow, a sinister pact which could spell doom for Eriador.
Tom is going back, but we have to go here, I think. It's the Great Barrow itself. Now, I mentioned this before, but the Great Barrow is also a dungeon meant for multiple people. But luckily this quest will take us inside on a solo quest, so we can at least see a little bit of what's inside. And as you can see, this is a place where men of old were buried in different ways. This was probably some sort of audience room, as we can see by the chairs on the left, or it might have been some kind of guard room, which you could often find at the entrance to a place like this. Trying to find the Witch King in here, because apparently he's gone in here, and we need to know why. Why would he be going into this place? Why is the Lich King interested in the Great Barrow? And for those of you who don't know, the Lich King is the most powerful of the 9 of the ring wraiths of the Nazgul. He's called the Witch King because at some point he was the Lord and Master King of Angmar, which, as I said earlier, was one of the fortresses used by Morgoth, and it was not entirely destroyed after the Great War. And later on, the Witch King used it even before he became... Was it before? I think... I'd have to look that one up. Whether he already was a king in Angmar before he got burned by Sauron, or if it was after. I do know though that most of the Nazgul were men converted from either the eastern countries or the southern countries. Mostly because those countries had been under the sway of Sauron for quite a long time already. Some say that the kings that would later become the Nazgul were actually Númenóreans of old. And it's really hard to say whether they were or not. We do know that the Númenóreans, especially in the southern countries, were invaded in a way by the Númenóreans when they made war upon Sauron, because in those days they were very, very much stronger than their later descendants in Gondor would be. They were easily able to subdue the peoples there, and some of them became chieftains of those people and kings, and it is therefore said that those kings or their descendants would later become the Nazgul, because their ancestry made them so much stronger than the peoples themselves were. And while you might think that, but why would the peoples of Middle Earth be stronger than the indigenous people, the others? And that is because the people of Númenóreans, they were touched by the elves and educated by the elves. They were sort of helped by that, because the High Elves themselves they were... I'm getting distracted so much. I need to finish this before they can bury me in here with them. Back in the old days, in the Second Era, men came to the west, to where the elves were, and those that followed the elves and were educated by them, they were gifted with long life, way longer than other men were. Like, well, even now, at the end of the Third Age, we know that normal men would live like we humans would, about 70 to 100 years. And I am quickly pouring myself a little bit to drink because I am parched. There we go. Much better. But Aragorn, for example, I think in the books it was told that he was 195 and well over 300 years old when he died. And that, even that to the men of old, the chieftains of old, was short-lived. They could live up to 500 years, sometimes longer than dwarves could. And that was one of the reasons they were that much stronger, because of the power imbued by the elves. But over time that power was diminished, and it was not helpful that the ancestors of Aragorn were at some point seduced by Sauron. They were actually powerful enough to defeat Sauron easily. So easily, in fact, that when they arrived at the gates of Mordor, not even at the gates, when he arrived, when the Númenóreans arrived on the shores of Middle-earth, Sauron simply surrendered. Let's watch this for a little while. Our plans in the south are reaching fruition. He's on a loop. The ring moves east to Imladris, no doubt. Skorgrim, your dwarves should focus their efforts in the north and east. Up. Yeah. Fools. Uh-oh. They were not that hard. Anyways, where was I? Oh yes, when the Númenóreans reached the shores of Middle-earth, they were so powerful that Sauron just gave up. He surrendered. But he didn't just give up. He was sneaky and wily enough to know that he could outlive them. So he set about changing them from within. And so he did, and surely over time, because Sauron was still able to shift his shape back then, and he could look fair and wise. So Númenóreans started listening to him, and they became indulgent. And eventually they started sacrificing other men, other Númenóreans. And well, this had the effect that they were diminished as a people. Their lives were cut short, and only the faithful remained, of which Aragorn is actually a direct descendant. In fact, and this is kind of a thing that I always enjoy telling people, is that Elrond, from father to son in a direct line, is a great uncle of Aragorn. I think there are probably, what was it, about 20 generations in between? But in essence, that would make Arwen his niece. Sit on that. Well met. My master sends thee greetings. I grant thee the boon of an audience before I kill thee. Thou seemed desirous of certain knowledge, so I'll give it thee. For the dead speak not, the white cackles. My master seeks a great power for the Dark Lord, but the Dark Lord has more designs than this. The Pale Dwarf shall go to the north and gather an army in the name of Angmar and the Witch King. The Gaunt One, a great power himself, and to whom I owe this form, goes to the east. There, in Agamar, he shall awaken a power that lies sleeping in the waters. With her under his command, the skies will turn to blood, and all shall despair. Now thine audience comes to an end, thy death awaits thee. No. Hey, it's Tom. He's coming in. Yay! Now this is exactly what Tom Bombadil did for Frodo. Frodo got caught sleeping in the Barrow Downs and taken to the Great Barrows. There they were laid to rest, and they were almost killed by the Barrow-wights until Tom Bombadil came in and just said, "Be gone, thou should not be walking," and they were wights no longer.
Ring a dong, hop along,
Was it
follow
worth the
the
trouble?
willow.
Did you learn your lesson? Leave the dead to sleep their dreamless sleep, and walk yourself upon the green grass under the sun.
Saruman the White has become the jailer of Mordor. It was he who orchestrated my capture and imprisoned me atop Orthanc. Gwaihir the Windlord came to my rescue and saved me from this accursed tower. All would have been lost if Strider hadn't found Frodo and the hobbits.
Gwaihir. Now that's a name. Here's the thing about Gwaihir. Gwaihir is, as you could see, an eagle, but not just any eagle. The eagles were a race of creatures that reported directly to Manwe, and Manwe is the chief of chiefs, the Lord of the Valar. And I believe, though I'm not entirely sure, that the eagles were sent by Manwe into Middle-earth to at least sort of keep an eye on things.
Come, Derry Dole, can
The
you hear
darkness is
me
behind us in
singing?
that dank and dreary tune. We'll make our way back into the light and feel the sun on our faces once more.
Hey, Dole, merry Dole,
Old
ring
Barrow
a
Wights
dong
from
dillo.
Angmar came. They disturb the peace and trouble folk who wander through their mounds. Let the dead sleep and leave their troubles in the earth. Unless, of course, you wake them dancing on the rooftops. Hey, come, my friend. Linger here no longer. To Bree you should be a-going. You've a friend there who awaits you. Now let's quickly see if we can complete these quests here. And I think after that, as sorry as I am to say it, I think I might have to call it a night. Oh, I am definitely going the wrong way. There we go. That's closer to where we ought to be going. Let's see if I can actually move them. No, I cannot. Let's go back this way. Well, as we discovered last time and talked about, the old forest is a maze. It's rather hard to navigate if you don't go in the right way, and definitely will get you lost if you don't check your map often. Anyway, as I was saying, I think I'll call it a night shortly, because I've been doing the main quest way above my own level, and well, that is making things a lot harder than they need to be. So I will be doing a lot of leveling off screen, I think. Probably just need to do a couple of side quests. But I'm going to quickly grab these. So they're more or less on the way. Quick little bit of treasure. Hold on, where are you at? Oh, I guess I'll have to do that. Oh. That is just an item that one of the people near the edge of the forest wanted. There you are. Thank you, and welcome to Stop Moving. I told you you couldn't move, so don't move. Awesome. Wandering Shade over there. First, complete these two. Well, this one quest, really.
What can I do for you?
Let's quickly traverse through these barrow downs, find old Shade. There he is. I will pick up the quest. Maybe I'll do that later. But for now, let's continue on. Down here.
What can I do for you?
Always something.
Stay a moment. Would you do something for me? Stay a moment.
Okay, more quests in the vicinity.
I don't know if you can help me.
Fine.
Stay a moment. Could I speak with you a moment? Might I take a moment of your time?
I think those are repeatables actually. Um, let's quickly see what's up here, because there should be a quest very close by. Get this out of the way. Okay. It's right over there. Quickly dispatch this Barghest. These wolves go back to sleep. And I think I'm just going to travel to 3 to Strider. Have a quick talk. And then call it a day. Loading, loading. Hey, Aragorn, old friend. Oh, now I need to talk to Barlaman. To the innkeeper. I think Aragorn might have already left with Frodo and his companions. Oh, hello there again. I was so busy that I didn't see you, but there's never a moment's peace here, if I may say so. I was worried that he'd sour my beer for letting Mr. Underhill and his friends go off with that ranger. He? Who? Oh, why, that would be Mr. Gandalf, of course. They say he's a wizard or some such, and I'll say there must be something to those tales, for my beer's never been better. He was so pleased. Begging your pardon, but it do run on sometimes. Gandalf said to send anyone looking for Strider up to his room. It's up the stairs just beyond Strider's room. Okay. Let's have a quick chat with Gandalf then. I'm sure he'll shed some light on this entire situation.
Why do you disturb me?
You are lost or seek me with intent. By the look in your eye, I gather the latter. Though I also sense you sought another, Strider perhaps. Then we have both come too late. Our mutual friend is left, bearing with him a terrible burden. I am Gandalf the Grey, a friend of Strider's. If he set you to a task, it could not be much less urgent than his own. Tell me your tale, and I will deliver it to him. So, Angmar rises. It is grim news, but I am not surprised. Nevertheless, I cannot turn aside from my own task, for the fate of all Middle-earth hangs upon it. This burden I place upon you in the name of the free peoples of Middle-earth. Hinder the Witch King's plans if you may. Whether east or north, I bid you good fortune. Farewell.
I need your assistance.
Okay, yeah. Definitely gonna call it a day here. This is another quest that is 5 levels above where I am. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but that's where we are. Let's see if there's anyone we can raid into. Quickly open up Twitch, see who's out there. I think I am going to raid into Claire Strife, who is currently playing Jurassic World Evolution. It's sort of a base builder with dinosaurs, so yay. So I hope all of you enjoyed it, and yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.